Right now, we are joined in studio by comedian Dave Labedz. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, thank you. What's, I don't know, you had a little bit of trouble getting over here with the construction on the north side of town?
I wouldn't say it was trouble. I just wasn't paying attention and overshot the place by a few blocks. So I just had to walk a ways.
That's all right, it happens.
It was okay.
So you recently started getting into the whole corporate humor thing, huh?
I wouldn't say I'm getting into it, but like 2 hours ago, I did my first corporate comedy gig. It was over at the Rigby, where you guys did the live show last week.
Sure.
Good room for comedy. And it was local comedian Barry Roberts, works over at TDS, and he brought in the TDS sales team for a comedy show, and he had a bunch of local guys do 15-minute sets. I ended up doing about 17 minutes or so, and it was really fun.
What's the big difference between doing a corporate gig like that and doing stand-up?
Well, in the case of this one, nothing. But usually you have to work a lot cleaner, and so it's sort of a challenge that way. And, you try to write jokes that are specific to the audience that you're working for. If they're salesmen, you write jokes about sales or things like that. And so I actually opened with a couple of jokes tonight that wouldn't be funny if I repeated them, so don't ask. They were very specific to things that were said in the first few minutes of the show.
Right.
But you try and do that kind of thing, where you're directly engaging the audience because it makes them feel special because they're, self-indulgent.
Okay. Awesome, man. And now last week you also did a show, a burlesque show.
A burlesque show! Yeah!
So were you wearing the tassels?
No, I was doing comedy. Part of burlesque, like the old Lenny Bruce style burlesque shows, you've got like jazz song and dance numbers. So there was some of that, girls in cocktail dresses singing Minnie the Moocher.
Sure.
And there was some strip shows, not full nudity, but with pasties and that kind of thing. And then there's comedy, guys get up and tell dirty jokes, and it's part of the show. And we were able to work like, the most extreme stuff we've got, and it was really fun. And everybody was there to see that kind of show. And although I will say, and I said this on stage when I was there, and it's really true. Like, it was a Halloween-themed show, and so it got me thinking about all the things that scare me. Like girls. And so, like, being on stage after the first couple strip numbers, I realized this for me is like a goddamn haunted house. It's awful. I was so anxious, but I had a really good set, and I would go back if they had me. Apparently, they're going to be doing some more of those, so
right on.
People should keep an eye out. It was out at the Inferno, so
okay.
Foxy Veronica's Peach Pies.
Speaking of the Inferno, I know that they have, or at least they have had in the future, a fetish night.
Oh yeah, that's an ongoing thing.
Right, and then of course I
have a friend, my old roommate, once brought a date to that accidentally. He went on his first date with this girl, and he's like, "Hey, let's go to the Inferno," because he thought there'd just be like some industrial DJ or whatever. And they go in, and it's leather and lace night.
That's awesome.
And she's like, "Oh, so this is what you're into."
You ever
did not make a good impression. I don't think he got a second date. But
you ever see anybody like dressed up in any kind of bondage gear?
Not when I was only there the one time, so but I will be back, and I hope to see that. Although I will say, I watch a lot of bondage porn, mostly for the humor. Sure. I think it's kind of funny. A big thing with bondage porn is that like one partner is disabled, like one person is blindfolded or handcuffed or whatever. What I would really like to see in BDSM porn is like double blind, where both people are blindfolded, and so they're running around the room in the dark, like bumping heads, or like both people are handcuffed, so they have to hop around and like figure out some way to hump that way, or like both people are strapped into a sex swing, and so they bounce into one another like those, testicle-looking things people have on their desks with the ball bearings. You know what I'm talking about?
Newton's cradle.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Everybody knows what it is.
What about the pterodactyl?
Imagine having sex that way. It'd be so painful if you missed even by a little.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Broken,
Ouch.
Broken
Do we have a
penis.
Boing song that we can play about? Okay.
Broken pterodactyl penis.
Indeed.
Oh.
But yeah, like at some point it becomes less like a bondage porno and more like a reality game show on Spike Network. Like, tonight at 10 p.m., right after burn victim kickboxing. Double blind bondage porn.
Awesome. So, Dave, you are you with anybody? You live with anybody? You got roommates? What's going on there?
I'm not with anyone in the sense that you mean, probably, but like, yeah, you know what the difference?
But I saw that blindfold over there, though.
Well, yeah. Well,
hey, everybody, we're all gonna get late.
Well, I was just gonna say, you know what the difference is between me and you guys? You've never watched a condom expire. I'm on the other side of that fence. No,
that's
so
like watching grass
I'm not
grow.
with anyone, quote unquote. But I do live with a couple of dudes, other comedians, David Fisher and Joe Snell, who are two guys actually involved in the Brain Fart Theater Company, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Sure.
But it's fun. Like, in the last few years, I've always either lived by myself or lived with one other roommate. This year, I have 2 roommates, which I realized recently makes me feel twice as unemployed. Like, when I'm the only one around, I notice it twice as much because the place is like 3 times as big. Twice as much place for me to, get drunk and take a nap at 3 in the afternoon.
Right.
that's
Speaking of
tough.
getting drunk, you ever go out to the bar and just drink so much you're blind?
I have been blackout drunk one time and one time only. It was an interesting story. All right. So I got blackout, and I'm a little guy, but, I can go for a while. And so when I get blackout drunk, it's like I go from intelligibly buzzed to dead. Sorry, I hit the table and it cut
was
out the mic.
weird. Yeah.
It proved my point, though. Yeah, that's how bam the instant blackout is when I get blackout drunk. So anyway, I got blackout drunk one time, and I woke up the next morning in the bed of my girlfriend at the time, and I'm like, oh shit, and I'm like, I'm gonna be late for work and all this stuff, and I got out of bed, and I looked, and my backpack was in the corner, and I had packed my work clothes for the next day, I had packed my lunch for the next day, I had packed my toothbrush and my contact lens stuff, and even like stuff I don't normally take, like soap and shampoo and all this stuff, and I realized that in my drunken stupor, I had walked to her house because her house is like 25 minutes closer to work. Like, that's the kind of blackout drunk you win scholarships for. But only to the University of Wisconsin.
Do they offer scholarships for that? I didn't
Only to
know
the
that.
University of Wisconsin. So let's hope you want to major in food science or agricultural journalism.
University-
I'm kidding. Agricultural journalism isn't real. That's a football player major.
Now you mentioned sports there for a moment. Are you're a Brewers fan at all?
I don't really. If I follow any sport, it's baseball. For really nerdy reasons that if I talked about them here, they wouldn't be entertaining at all to your listeners.
Okay.
I get into like the whole Moneyball angle. I find that really
okay.
interesting.
All right.
But just in general, like, sports rivalries kind of fascinate me because they're so arbitrary. Like, but I think, do they take that home? Do the players of those teams really embody it? Like, for example, do you think the New York Yankees jack off into Red Sox for the symbolic irony? It's something I've always
Jeter
wondered.
does.
Like when you join the New York Yankees, they're like, here is your New York Yankees issued red jack-off sock for use before each and every game. Needless to say, the pre-game locker room scene for the New York Yankees gets pretty weird. A bunch of guys furiously playing whack-a-mole.
That would be awesome.
And less than awesome. Awesome is not the word you mean, but we'll roll with that.
It seems to work.
It's funny.
I have a 3-year-old son who is currently enrolled at a preschool.
That's
here
an
in
awesome
town.
segue. Masturbation. Bam. 3-year-old son. Where is this going?
Well, I guess that's up to you, isn't it?
Yeah,
It
well,
is up to
goes the
me.
dynamite.
And if it's up to me, this is going to be awful in about 30 seconds. Let's
Go
go.
for it.
Go.
No, go for it. Let's talk about preschool a little bit.
Preschool. I got some things to say about preschool. I went to this little private preschool, and I had one black friend. His name was Ryan. And one day, we were waiting for our parents to pick us up, and I asked Ryan why he was black. Because I thought he might know. And my teacher got all upset. And after she locked me in the closet and let me out of the closet, she said to me, what do you have to say for yourself? And I said, dude, I'm 4. What do I know? But I learned my lesson, though. I haven't asked anybody why they are the color they are ever since then. I almost asked a guy why he was blue once, but he died before I got a chance. So I learned my lesson, preschool teacher.
I hope you die.
I do hope you die.
You mentioned earlier something about Brain Fart Theater. You wanted us to take a listen here.
Yeah, I have a sketch group called the Brain Fart Theater Company. We do live sketches at a bunch of places. Sometimes on Wednesdays at the Comedy Club. Sometimes on Tuesdays at Amy's Open Mic, the open mic I host, and also over at the Dan Pataki Show at the Frequency every other Thursday. We contribute to that a lot. And this is a good example of a sketch that it's mostly audio. It's actually a video sketch if you look it up on YouTube. It's called The Problem. If you search Brain Fart Theater, The Problem, you'll find this sketch. And it's sort of an, Mel Brooksy kind of back and forth that me and Phil Harrelson do. So let's take a listen to that.
We have to solve this problem. What's the problem? The problem is that we haven't solved it yet. What? The problem. What problem? The problem of not having yet solved the problem. Well, we should get right on it. We can't. Why? There's no time. No time. Look, I don't have time for this. There's no time to solve the problem of not having any time to solve the problem. That seems problematic. Adoy. Well, when did we run out of time? Months ago. Well, then why didn't we take care of it then? Because we had plenty of time then. You know what we need? What? We need more time. How do we get more time? We build it. Where? In the national budget. How does that work? Well, we say in the budget that there are 13 months. So there are. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Well, now that we have another month, do you want to get started? Nah, we have plenty of time. Let's go golfing. Oh, I'm sorry, I have a hernia. Well, that's a problem.
Okay. So Adoy? No, I think we can go from Adoy.
Awesome.
That might have been a little confusing at the end. That was an outtake where we're talking about Adoy. We can take it from Adoy. Let's start at Adoy, this next take. That was over credits, the music and everything.
Yeah, sure. That's excellent. And that's one of a couple different videos I know that I've watched that have I've then had to go and share with lots of people.
I think we have about 13 of them on there. So spread the word. We have we might be developing a show for WYOU, which is like
awesome.
It's a situational sketch show where we cut between videos like that and then scenes at 4-Star Video with Chris Lay and other comedians going to play like the video clerk. And we're going to have like various scenes going on in the video store that, are intercut between the video sketches on site.
That is awesome. That's funny stuff from Dave Labedz. And who else is involved in Braidford Theater?
It's sort of a loose conflagration. The core members are myself, David Fisher, and Phil Harrelson. We write and produce most of the stuff. But people who have been involved recently, Charlie Willick just wrote a sketch that we did a cut of. And there are some other people. Nate Bjork is someone who's been in a bunch of our videos.
Yeah, that cemetery bit that you guys did.
Yeah,
is awesome.
it's unfortunately we couldn't play it here because it's silent film.
Yeah, I wouldn't translate.
It's called for your listeners. It's called "Death, Thy Name Is Picnic," and it's probably my favorite thing we've done.
Awesome.
And so the
gnarly.
Yeah,
so you have to watch it out. It will make you laugh.
Nate Bjork is really fun. He's sort of our ideal leading man. Like if I'm David Mamet, he's my William H. Macy. Just like the perfect guy to read my words.
That is awesome.
So.
Dave, where can we see you?
You can see me. Oh man, all over the place. So pretty much every Sunday, I think from here on out, we're going to have an open mic at the Project Lodge on Sunday nights, starting around I think 8:00. It's like 7 or 8. And then Monday nights I do the Argus, which is the Argus 123 East Main Street, and that starts a little after 9 p.m. Tuesday nights, I host Amy's Cafe, the open mic at Amy's. That starts usually around 9:30, and there's no cover for any of these, by the way. Any of these open mics are free and 21 and up. And then Wednesdays, most weeks I'm at the Comedy Club, their Wednesday local showcase. And that starts at, I think, 9 p.m., and that's $2, and it has a bunch of drink specials, and it's a real good deal. And then occasionally I'll do, like I said, Dan Pataki every other Thursday. I do every once in a while some sketch characters in that show. And that's every other Thursday at the Frequency, and sometimes I'll do, Thursdays at the Comedy Club, those guest sets that they've got.
Sure. And
every once in a while I'm doing an independently promoted weekend show. I'm all over the place.
Okay,
so.
And what if our listeners would like to get in contact with you?
Facebook is the best way to do it. I'm pretty accessible on Facebook. I'm far from my friend limit. So if anybody, just drop me a line, add a personal message when you friend me. Say, hey, I'm interested in, giving you some work as a comedian. I will definitely accept your friend request. Even if you're planning on killing me, it's well worth the risk.
Excellent. Well, Dave, thanks for taking time to come down here and chat with us.
Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
It's our pleasure, believe me.